Much more about this conference right now with Barbara Kotschwar, who is a research fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics here in Washington. I asked her about the changes Cuba has made and if they're enough for the U.S. to remove its embargo against that country.
Well, the book actually is not yet published. It should be out relatively soon, probably before political normalization between the United States and Cuba. At least our publisher hopes so. You know, it really depends what type, how events play themselves out. So Cuba right now is undertaking a gradualist path of economic liberalization, but has undertaken some pretty meaningful measures to liberalize the economy. So they've eliminated restrictions on the sale of property. Cubans can now buy and sell automobiles, apartments, computers, DVDs, etc. Well, as you know, sanctions have been in place for the past 50 years. They've gone through periods of tightening and periods of loosening, depending on the administration, depending on the conditions. Most recently, in his first administration, President Obama has somewhat loosened restrictions on remittances, allowing more remittances, lessening the restrictions on the amount of remittances and to whom they could be remitted, and loosening travel. And so you've seen more and different types of groups being able to visit Cuba. There's been particular attention paid to people-to-people exchanges, which are designed to allow individuals to get to know the other cultures. There's also been greater expansion of the ability for Cuban to visit family members. There's been amplifying of categories. So family members are considered by birth, by adoption, and within 3 generations.
The CELAC event that's happening in Cuba is a sort of an invitation-only event, and there are some noticeable people that are excluded from the program there. Do you think it would have helped if there were more Western countries perhaps involved, or would they even attend if they were invited?
Well, the CELAC is an initiative that was started in 2011. There were movements by particularly Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez to set up an alternate mechanism to the Organization of American States. When this movement began, it was also part of the counter movement to the then under negotiation free trade area of the Americas. So the origins of the CELAC was to have a regional forum in which the Latin American and Caribbean countries could come together and discuss regional issues without the United States and Canada present. The entire membership of the OAS, all of the countries that attend the CELAC, and United States and Canada are members of the OAS. And since 2009, the OAS membership voted unanimously to lift the prohibition on Cuba being a member of the OAS.
The countries involved in the discussion, for example, Cuba, Venezuela, and Argentina, while their economies are very much different sizes and have different issues, one similarity is the fact that they're all dealing with this currency issue. This has been hitting the main headlines across newspapers around the world for emerging markets. How important of this an issue will be discussed, and also what will the solution be when they get together on this?
Well, I'm not so sure that they'll come up with a solution to the currency issue at the CELAC meeting, but it is an issue. The dual currency system is an issue that's very important to Cuba, certainly. This is probably the main macroeconomic challenge that Cuba faces right now, and the government has recognized that.
That was Barbara Kotschwar, research fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics here in Washington.